This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Prime Cutler, a recap of the biggest star on Very Cavallari. That would be Jay Cutler. My name is Kevin Moyers. Our show is sponsored, as always, by Bunny17media.com. It's a great little publisher full of all kinds of books. If you like what I do here, you're going to like the work that I have over there. I've written some books that are published through that label, and you can use the code Cutler to get 15% off of any purchase, ebook, audiobook, paperback, hardcover, doesn't matter, you get the discount. Now, on to the show. So, we're on season 1, episode 4, right? The Cutlers / Cavalaries have decided to put a bid on this house, right? It's a big house, a little bit more in the country, really nice, a little rustic looking, things like that. So, Kristen is going into the fridge, digging through some stuff. She's going to make some food. And Jay goes, "How do you like this?" Turns around his laptop, and he has a John Deere tractor sitting on there. She's like, "Okay, I don't know what the fuck for." That's how he's telling her they accepted their bid on the house. So they are moving. He just flips around a tractor. What do you think about this? That's becoming classic Jay Cutler, I think. I think that's what we're going to call that. And the best thing about this scene, they're sitting there, they're having their food, and the fish tank is in the background. Now, I was so focused on this fish tank in the last episode. She's like, "That fish tank's not coming with us." They're like, "No, it's coming." It had one fish left. It had 3 in the last episode, from what I remember. She's like, "There's one last fish." And Jay just looks. He's a survivor. He's not giving up on this fish. Like, the dude has no career at this point. He's done with football. There's no way he's coming back. There's no way. Like, right now, it's already August. Training camps are going. All this. I mean, unless some crazy thing happens and somebody calls him up, "Hey, you want to come out of retirement?" We're not going to see Jay Cutler on the field this season. We're just not. So, he needs to have shit to do. So, I think that's part of getting this bigger house where they can have chickens and goats and shit like that. The dude needs a hobby. He's been playing football for, the last probably, almost 30 years. He's been playing his whole life. I'm sure he was, a kid playing Pee-wee and all that. He was a star in college. And then he gets drafted into the NFL for... I think he played maybe a dozen years, but it's a long time. He was with the Bears a long time. And then, a season with Miami, maybe 2 with Denver, so 1 or 2. But, yeah, I mean, the guy's been playing forever. He needs some shit to do. He needs a tractor. And he needs that fucking fish tank. So, we get away from that, and Kelly, Kristen's best friend, she's waiting on the Canadian, right? He's finally coming out. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because, like, the most entertaining part of this is her and Kristen deciding whether or not the dude is circumcised. And, we find out that Kristen Cavallari has seen one uncircumcised penis. She thinks. She's not even sure. She's pretty sure it was uncircumcised. It's just like, and they giggle like 5-year-olds over this whole thing, which is kind of hilarious, honestly. People that are, in their 30s laughing about this. And look, I'm 42. I laugh about this shit all the time. So I kind of appreciated how much they were laughing like kids over the circumcision. But the dude shows up, and this is all I want to spend on this. The dude shows up. Kelly sets him up in her friend's Airbnb, which was very nice of her. They don't want to, be in close quarters yet. They want to be able to, separate just in case shit doesn't work. Very smart. But it's like watching 14-year-olds interact. The two of them are complete and utter dullards. It's so uninteresting. I sit sometimes when I go places, and I'll look at couples, and I will think to myself, what the hell do they talk about? I'll just look at them, and I see nothing. And I think, what in the world? What is their conversation like? And in this episode, I got to see one of those conversations. And it was the dumbest, most aimless shit. When I'm getting to know somebody, if I'm on a first date with somebody, I'm having conversation. We're talking about, like, our lives and what we think about things and what we're into and stuff like that. It was just death watching these two. And, you know, they had a nice time and all, and I'm sure they'll continue on, and we'll see this guy more, whatever. You know, they didn't hook up or anything. It was, spent the night making out and cuddling and whatever. Like, hey, fine, good for you. But they had a nice time. That's all we need to spend on that. It's just really, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's no real substance to it. So, whatever. We get to Shannon. My God. This woman is abso-fucking-lutely insane. Absolutely. So, Taylor comes in, her best friend, the one that models for Uncommon James. In the last episode, they told her she could have a part-time job there. Everybody but Kristen. They didn't clear it with Kristen. Kristen had asked her way before, months before, if she wanted to work there, and she said no. So now Kristen's like, well, why does she want to work here now? Because she wants to be in a sorority setting? No. And she flat out tells her, she lets her come in for an interview, and Taylor tanks it. She doesn't get hired. And Kristen's just, yeah, like through the whole thing, just cold, and just, you could tell she's pissed off that she's even considering taking the time to sit there with Taylor. But she is giving her the opportunity, since she knows her, and she's still going to work with her as a model. But she's like, I can't have Shannon's best friend in here, and it's going to be cliquey with the girls, and you know, and all Shannon wants is, I need somebody on my side. I need somebody on my side, because you know, which is typical crazy behavior. Really, it's like victimhood behavior, which is what abusive types do, and that's her. That's exactly what she is. She's a manipulator and a monster. And she even, to train Taylor, does a really shitty impression of Kristen. Like, Kristen's a gigantic asshole. So, Taylor, like that kind of shitty, it was horrible. It was awful. Kristen's going to watch this. I mean, well, she has watched it. You know, she's part of that production team, so she's seen it all, so she knows this is happening. You want to do that on camera while your boss is the executive producer of this thing? Not a good idea. Not a good idea. But then we get our second Cutler moment, which is my favorite thing. My favorite thing. He just stands while Kristen's interviewing people, giving them their second interviews. He just stands in the doorway, all creep style, and just looks. Not even looks, just like side looks. Like he's standing up and just his head is slightly turned to the left. And he's just watching shit. And Kristen is so irritated by him standing there. She has to go, excuse me for a second, my husband's here. She's like, what do you want? And he's over there like, he needs something to do. The fucking dude's bored. That's why he needs a tractor and a farm and chickens and pigs and goats and shit. He's fucking bored. He's like, you need me to sit in on an interview? Like, no, why would she? Why the fuck would she want that? And then he's like, she said, all right, she finished up with what she was doing, and she goes, how many are out there? He's like, 2 more. And she said, okay. He said, want me to send one of them in? He's just hanging out. He's got a half hour to kill before he picks up their boys. So, you know, whatever. And it's hilarious. It's funny just the way he's hanging out, bored to tears. And, you know, they get this whole this whole thing going. She heads home, and he's sitting on the couch, just like looking like he looks with this kind of face. Like, what now? She says, you ready for my day? And he just says, no. And just smiles. But again, I can't say it enough. they fuck with each other. They fuck with each other. And there's a moment during this conversation, on the second viewing, I caught it a little bit more, where it seemed like, whoa, what the hell, the first time. But then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, she's fucking around with him. But she's telling the whole thing, all the craziness with Taylor and Shannon and the whole thing. And he said, it sounds like sorority girl stuff going on. She's like, I wasn't in college. I didn't hang out with sorority girls. That's you. And he's like, yeah, had some good times. And I don't know what it is. I don't see Cutler as just like running around hooking up with chicks. He's so fucking mellow. I don't see him being that party guy. It doesn't make sense to me. And when you watch him, it's like, I don't know. Even as a player, people talked about his attitude and stuff. It was just like, he's so nonchalant. People think he's an asshole. And I understand that, but I don't know. I don't see him as the running like a madman party guy in college. It doesn't click with me with his personality now. But who knows? I don't know. But she's telling him the whole thing. He tells her, fire somebody. Scare the shit out of everybody else, But she's not going to do that. And I have to say, I noticed something in this episode. Maybe it's, there's more time spread out than you're led to believe. It looks like it just goes across maybe 2 days, maybe 3. But I'm pretty sure Jay was clean shaven in the beginning of the show. And then he's got almost a fucking full beard by the end of it. Like he's Homer Simpson or some shit. And it baffles me. And I'm going to have to pay more attention to like what he's wearing so I can see if it's the same clothing and this is just what happens in the course of a day. Because I don't understand it. I grow a beard pretty quickly. If I shave completely, I got the whole thing back fully in less than 2 weeks. Like it's full. But I don't know, man. He's Homer Simpson. That's it. But Kristen's like, all right, takes his advice. Oh, the thing that was said that was, I realized was joking, seemed shitty at first, but he's talking to her because he needs something to do. He's talking to her about the store. He's like, well, I'm half owner. And she's like, yeah. It's like, oh, I am. And she's like, you better check that prenup. He's just like, gives her a look like, all right, fucker. Like, and you could tell it was jokey the second time, but the first time I saw it, I was like, ooh, what was that? But that's when they get more into like the sorority girl talk, and he's like, yeah, good memories kind of stuff. But she goes back to the store, Kristen, gets all the girls, he tells her, you gotta, nip this in the bud, and they're hashing it out together, Jay and Kristen. So she texts them, let's have a group meeting, while she's sitting with Jay. And they do that, and this is when the trouble starts, because there was the fight with Shannon and Reagan, where Shannon was trying to tell Reagan what to do, but Kristen had told the women to give Reagan things to do if you need help, and that's what Shannon was doing, but in a like menial sort of way. And it went with this whole conversation, and Brittany chimed in, which she should. She's a store manager, which was actually decent. I like kind of how Kristen handled this, but and having been a manager of people, I like that Brittany jumped in. She kind of took her job seriously there, but I'm telling you, the one thing that was bad was she's like, well, I did tell Shannon this, and then you get Shannon on her little side thing, like, I'm right, and that's like feeding an evil stray cat. It's just going to keep coming back. Like, I was right once, now I can just say I was right every time, and that one little act is going to cause chaos for the rest of the season. I promise you. And this is the end of the episode, but I did notice one thing that Kristen did, which is very weird. She's like curled up on the couch, has her legs up on the couch while she's having this conversation with him. Like she's some kind of a cat waiting to be pet or something. Holding her coffee with 2 hands, all curled up on the couch while she's trying to have the serious business conversation. It was the strangest thing to me. And I sit in my recliner all the time with my kind of legs crossed, and I'm, just relaxing. And so I get that, but not when you're in a business thing. I don't know what it is. It's just very bizarre to me. But anyway, a little light on the J for my taste, but quality moments. All quality moments. The creeper around the corner with the interview, that was the funniest thing to me. And they show clips of the next episode where Kristen goes and does some Oscar red carpet stuff for E, and Jay is left behind on his own, and he's in the store. They show him in the store, and I'm telling you, this is going to be the golden Jay Cutler episode, episode 5. I sense it. This is the moment we're waiting for as Jay Cutler fans. So, yes, I'm excited for episode 5. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. And like I said, head to bunny17media.com. Buy any of the books, ebooks, audiobooks over there, and you get 15% off with the code Cutler. Okay, type that in when you check out. You'll get your 15% off. Whether you buy something small, everything on the site, it doesn't matter. As much or as little as you buy, you get the discount there. And yes, people ask all the time. We go to conventions, oh, can we get your stuff on Amazon? Yeah, you can get the stuff on Amazon, but you're going to get it cheaper from us. We make more from it, so you're supporting the artists and the writers if you go directly, and it's better all around for everybody. And Amazon, listen, yeah, our stuff's up there, but their business practices have been a little bit questionable as of late. And as far as the way they treat employees and stuff like that, rich dudes, sometimes not the best. You don't get to be the richest man in America by being nice. So get it directly from us and support an independent label. We really appreciate that, and that's everybody involved. I can speak for all of us. So do that, and thank you again for listening. We'll see you next week with episode 5 of Prime Cutler, checking out Very Cavallari, and our absolute favorite, Mr. Jay Cutler. Listen to more of Prime Cutler and subscribe at abnormalentertainment.com. Find all Abnormal Entertainment shows at abnormalentertainment.com, Stitcher Smart Radio, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Find me at Kevin Moyers on Twitter and on Facebook. Find Abnormal Entertainment at Abnormal Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.